Okay, we're going to deal with some loops now in GarageBand. So we'll start a project and let's go ahead and hit loops. We'll call this loop project and we'll save it in GarageBand. Okay, so on my loop project, as you can see, the loop button here is already opened up. So I have all my loops right here. So the first thing we want to do is build a favorites list. Now, all you have to do to build a favorites list is to go through these different sounds and find what your favorites are. For instance, I can click on urban and let's click on funky electric guitar. And don't like that. Okay. If I like that, all I have to do is check the box to the right, and that means I will select it as my favorite. I like this bass as well. Actually, I don't like that one as much. Let's try this. Yeah, I like bass and electric slap number 3. All right, then maybe move on down here and let's find a hip hop beat. No. Maybe that one. Okay, we'll say that one's a favorite. And let's find a good, let's see here, come down here. Let's find a good drum beat. Maybe Funky Drums 4. Okay, let's save that one. Let's save Funky Drums 3 and Funky Drums 2. Okay, now that's all my favorites. So if I go to reset and I hit my favorite button up here, you can see all the favorites that I just selected. Now I can continue to add to my favorites by hitting reset and maybe go into world. And if I find a good loop here, a conga groove, I like that one, so let's hit that one as my favorites. How about an exotic beat? Maybe not. Yeah, let's do a djembe. So, and if I go to reset and add my favorites, as you can see, even though I used a different urban and world beats, I can add them all into my favorites list. All right, so let's get a few more things added to my favorites. How about some percussion? Nope, I'm sorry, let's go to reset. Let's go to percussion. How about let's go down here to shaker. Let's find a good shaker. Ooh, I like that one. So let's click on that one, add that one for shaker. And let's go to reset. Let's find a good synth sound. Go down here maybe. No, that's not what I want. Let's go back to urban. Let's find a good keyboard sound. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so we'll do that. So now I've got some different sounds. So if I go to my favorites, now to bring them over into here, all I have to do is drag them over. Let's do when I click them over and drag them in, as you can see, it goes ahead and adds the audio track there. Let's play and hear what it sounds like. Now, if you hear the beat, there's a metronome on, so I'm going to turn the metronome off and go back and listen again. Okay. Now, as you notice, that track is very, very short. If I want to make it longer, I just go to the upper right-hand corner, click, and then pull it. And I can make it as long as I want. So this first part goes from measure 1 to measure 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the second part goes from 5 to measure 9. 5, 6, 7, 8 through 8 into measure 9. All right, now let's take one of my, let's take my funky electric guitar beat groove here. I'm going to add it measure 5. Now, if you notice, I decided to bring it starting to measure 5. I could have had it start at measure 1. However, I'm trying to create a kind of an interesting track, so I'm going to do it to measure 5, and I'm going to make it long as well. So click on the upper right hand corner and drag. Now let's go back and listen to that. Alright, let's say I don't want the guitar to wait that long to come in. I just drag this over to the left. Now it comes in measure 3. Let's try that. Okay, now let's add my bass. Let's get my electric slap bass and I'll drop it in here. And I'll have my bass come in at measure 7. Now to make sure my guitar continues to play, I'll drag it over. And let's go back and listen to this. Okay, and of course if I want those loops to continue, I can just pull them on farther, so forth, like that. Click on the upper right hand corner and drag. Now I can continue doing this, adding more loops. You don't have to add the loops from your favorites. You know, you can add a loop straight from here. So if you find a guitar loop you like, you can just pick it and drag it in. No problem. See? Click, drag it in. But I don't want to do that. So that is how you kind of get loops in. Now let's deal with some editing stuff. I don't want the drum set to start off loud right off the bat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade it in. Now to fade it, you click on the arrow right here, and that brings up your track volume. Okay? Now what you do is, this line going straight is the volume. So if I want to fade this in, then here's my point where I want it to be the loudest. So here I will drag this point down, drag that point down as well. So as you can see, it goes from almost nothing up to loudest. So let's hear what that sounds like. Okay, so that would be fading in. Now if I went to the end of the track, say I move my cursor right here, and I wanted to fade out, I could click here, and then click here and pull down. And as you can see, I cause a little diagonal ramp there. Let's do the same thing on the second track, because I want all of my tracks to fade out. So I'll click there and down, and let's click here, there, and down. So now, if I go back and listen, I should hear all of these 3 tracks fade out at about the same rate. Okay, and that is how you do fade ins and fade outs. Now the last thing I want to show you is how to pan. On the same arrow pointing down, if you click on these arrows here that says track volume, I can do track pan. Now track pan means I can switch this track here to here. I want to pan, whoops, let's try that again, sorry about that. If I want to track pan, I can pan that to the right there, and that to the right as well. All right, let's do this again like that, and this like here. So now what you're going to hear is you're going to hear the drums pan to the left, or the left speaker, and then here I will pull it down, and then you will hear the drums go to the right speaker. And then from here, I'll pull it back. Whoops, I need that point and another one to pull it back up. So let's go back to listen. So just to make sure you understand what that is, panning simply means to move the sound from the left speaker to the right speaker. So if the straight line in the middle means you're in the center, which means you can hear both speakers equally. Here you can see the sound should fade in to the left speaker, then switch over to the right speaker, then switch to both. Let's see if it does that. Okay, so left speaker, And now it's in the right speaker. Okay, and now it's in the left speaker. Now what I would recommend you do is maybe not do that, but maybe put one of the loops in the left, one of the loops in the right. For instance, I want the electric guitar to be on the left and the electric bass to be on the right. That's an easier way of doing it. Let's try that. Okay, the guitar is in the left. And here comes the bass. And the bass is in the right. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that I would necessarily do that, but that just shows you how to use the panning and the fading tool. Again, by clicking on this down arrow, you can have a choice of changing the track volume, fade in and fade out, or changing the pan, either left or right.